Okay, gonna be doing still on this book. I'm still in part one. It's gonna take me a while to finish this book. I hope I finish it at some point in history ever. But I'm trying to finish for the first part. I'm, just slowly but surely getting towards that end of this first part. So in this section, I'll be doing. It's section 17, which is on the way of the creator. So if you understand the overman, you know that the overman is somebody who is going to be a creator, not something who acknowledges what is created already. Therefore, you don't acknowledge preconceived moral norms. You don't acknowledge things that are already put in place for you to do, because that is what man does, and you are to overcome man. The overman overcomes man. So this is a section which cannot be, I guess, summarized. I wouldn't say that it could be summarized, but the main thing about this section is that the creator, he's kind of characterizing what the creator is and what the creator does. What the creator is and what the creator does is one who sees all of these norms and sees all of these existences, these gods, these doxastic norms, and all this other stuff that man himself acknowledges that the overman, or the creator, chooses to break and chooses to reject. He who seeks easily gets lost. All loneliness is guilt. Thus speaks the herd. He kind of does develop this concept of the herd, and what he means by the herd is this man who, we have various clumps of man. Each clump, I guess, would be acknowledging a certain norm or doxastic thing, or God, or whatever. We have the Christian lump of man who acknowledges God. I'm a part of that clump, so Nietzsche would say that I'm not doing right. So we have all these clumps of man, these herds, but the herd is the group of men who are acquiescing. They are acknowledging what is created. They are conforming, and they are basically gonna acknowledge something that is already there, and that's how they're gonna live their life. Nietzsche does, in a way, relate a notion of happiness. I don't want to say it's direct happiness, but he does relate a notion, a very moot point of happiness, which is related to the overman. But he does discuss happiness, and some of the other works to have were there. This shelf. But that's kind of what he's saying here. He's kind of saying what the herd is, what the herd does, and what the creator is, and kind of showing, kind of making a distinction between the herd and the creator, or the overman. Alas, there are so many great thoughts which do no more than a bellows. They puff up and make emptier. You call yourself free? Free from what? As if that mattered to Zarathustra. Your dominant thought I want to hear, and not that you have escaped from a yoke. Are you one of those who had the right to escape from a yoke? There are some who threw away their last value when they threw away their servitude. So freedom, freedom is another thing that Nietzsche does bring up in many works. This one included, along with these, which, yeah, those here. Sorry. Freedom, Nietzsche would say that we do have freedom because there's nothing in this world that can determine any kind of freedom, or there's nothing here that can determine our actions. So he says there's no possible determinism because there's no thing that can cause that. There's no that there's no way that determinism can be true, or that no way that could happen. Um, Also in this section, he does kind of discuss in a way ethical relativism, because um, well, I wouldn't call it relativism per se, because this is just, I don't know, it's different. So I don't want to put names to writings. I don't want to do that, because but I would say that the best thing to characterize this as would be ethical relativism. And beware of the good and the just. They like to crucify those who invent their own virtue for themselves. They hate the lonely one. So basically, the Overman, and I've talked about um, how how Nietzsche's Overman is not a humanist concept. Nietzsche's Overman is not a humanist concept, because a humanism is something that says that man should insert his own moral norms for him to live by, or at least that's part of what a humanist philosophy would do. That is not what Nietzsche is doing. Nietzsche is saying that the Overman is somebody who is a creator and overcomes man, which is beyond any kind of moral system that he could create for him to be subservient to. So the Overman is not subservient to any kind of moral system that somebody else created, nor he created either. But the worst enemy you can encounter will always be you, yourself. You lie in wait for yourself in caves and woods. Man versus Overman here. So that's part of this thing. Lonely one, you are going the way of the Creator. You would create a god for yourself out of your 7 devils. The lover would create because he despises. So this section is really lots of different passages in here which could, be looked at in many different ways. And there are people who interpret Nietzsche in many different ways. I am not one of those people. You could look at this one section, look at it for a whole day or for a long time, this one section of this book, and think about all the meanings that could be put here. But in a way that would be almost detract from the work itself. But that's the whole thing. The way of the Creator is a section that is kind of, first of all, making a distinction between the herd and the Creator, and also is kind of almost evoking a ethical relativism, because there's no one moral norm that is absolute. There's no moral norm that we all have to follow. There's no and in a way, morality is relative to the person, but the Overman is the Overman is beyond any kind of ethical relativism that you could impose upon him. Ethical relativism is lower than the Overman. So in a way, I don't even like using the term ethical relativism to describe the Overman. So if you think I left something out or did something wrong, comment below, let me know. Thank you.